Nico, hey,
Got
how's
it.
it going?
Good, bud. How are you?
Good. So, what's it like when you have a show like this that you're shooting in, I think, 2019 in Virginia, World Beyond, and then all of a sudden, the world is beyond, and then you go
Yeah.
back. I think you're in production for it now too, right? For the next season.
Yeah, we're shooting the last block right now, the last two episodes. That's a great question. I don't think that I've completely worked through all of the layers yet, personally, but I am aware of the circumstance. You know, working post-apocalypse for 6 months, then 2020 happening, and then coming back and shooting the second season while the pandemic is phasing out relatively here, has been so strange, but also like makes so much sense to me. My work has always mirrored my life and the world around me in such an interesting way that I feel like Felix and the world beyond properly prepared me for 2020, and now I get to channel all of that angst and energy into this story for the second season. Um, It'll be interesting to walk out that door in a few weeks and see it in the rearview mirror, so to speak. But I'm still here. I'm still here.
I really enjoy rewatching your immersion into Felix. I hardly recognize you. There's something,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's the hair, beard, voice, tattoos are different even, but there's something that you do so well, which is that you fall into this role. And I'm reading about how you'd gone straight from younger into the physical training for it. But what do you grab onto? What's your anchor for Felix?
Mm, 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 mm. Oh man. Well, I think it's two layers. I think that like obviously there's the physicality, that I once I step into the wardrobe and hair and makeup, I really got an idea of who this person was. Just even the decision with the tattoos to cover up my arm with a solid black sleeve, was a very specific choice that speaks volume to who this person was. So that was really like an actual physical anchor on my body. And then the fighting, uh, uh, also made me remember that I have a body, which sometimes I forget, to be totally honest with you. I kind of live up here, and Felix like has me live here. And in terms of his emotionality, I would say that, he, like on paper, Felix is like queer vegetarian fighter, right? Like hero. And there's an obvious way to portray that, and then kind of the layers underneath it. And I'm always interested in breaking down the stereotypes and kind of flipping things on its head. So I anchored Felix in this like brute like force, and masculinity, but under that is an emotionality that just is like ready to break at any given moment.
I read in your interview that you had said that your showrunner, Matt, was the nicest person that you'd ever worked
Yeah.
with, that many people are motivated by ego. How does that play into a show like this that's so much thematically about loyalty and who you can trust?
Hmm. Um, there is a lot of freedom in even, the space between getting scripts and shooting. Matt, can be super collaborative. If anyone ever has a question or a thought about a dialogue change or a motivation for the character, he's so open to conversation. When a lot of showrunners like will not even give that idea a thought, right? Like will not entertain it the slightest. Matt, shows up really, and I think especially in the second season, the show feels a lot bigger than it did in the first season. There's a lot more happening. If the first season was like the six of us getting from point A to point B. Now we have from C to Z to fill in another 12 episodes. So with so much going on, it's been so rewarding to have him in the corner of performance and storyline, because I think those two things, specifically performance, can get lost in just the shuffle of quick television, right? And he's just been such a champion.
What was it like to film a show like this, where you know that it's going to be 2 seasons, and as you said, in season 1, getting from point A to point B with a lot of twists along the way, it was really shocking about what was happening, and taking that into your season 2 that you're shooting now. What was it? How did you sort of get into that headspace to do that?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I try to stay out of the semantics of timing and season and series limitations, and just really live in the moments of the story that we're telling. I think just the landscape of television is so all over the place right now that, like, people say one thing and then tomorrow something else happens. Who knows where these characters are going to go? Who knows where this universe is going to live? Like, I just try not to attach myself to the outcome and just live in the moment.
What is your catching up on this series, younger, even how far is Tattoo Far? It was a lot of fun. What's your journey been like in terms of television and the ways that it's expanding in the last little while?
Yeah, I mean, from when I started 12, 13 years ago, it's a completely different format. Actors are not even just actors anymore, right? Like, I've also lived through the insurgence of the social media revolution and seen how that has changed the landscape. It's been a wild ride. I have tried to dip toes in a lot of different genres and a lot of different formats, and I'm really I love the art of filmmaking and storytelling, whether it is, half-hour rom-com, hour-long action, unscripted, short form, whatever it is, we're storytellers. And production itself is such a massive feat. To be able to, like, wrap my head around all of the pieces that are happening, it's been a learning experience that really, like, no schools are able to teach. I have been in the School of Hollywood for the last 12, 13 years, and I'm ready to take all of that information and put it into the next project for sure.
It's really an honor for me to be able, speaking now at this time for Pride. I had a conversation with, it feels like forever ago, a few years back, with Samira Wiley on the way to Stonewall, to the event that you were a part of as well, too, that you were the ambassador. What does Pride mean for you this month?
This is definitely an interesting year. This is an interesting Pride. Not having Pride, at least on a public, level last year, the celebration feels different. Just thinking about all the people and all that and everything that we have lost over this last year and a half, it feels like this year's Pride is really an honoring of sorts of where we've come from and what we've all collectively gone through, whether or not you're part of the community or not. This feels like a moment to be proud of being alive and to really look into the mirror and question what you're going to do with it now, because it is a gift and it needs to be cherished.
Good to be alive, especially in the context of your show, for sure. With that,
yeah, well, totally, and I'm sure that affects even my own response to that question.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure, and
thanks, Charles.
Best from here.